Hi, Gwyneth.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How was your spring break?
Oh, it was really nice.
Did you do anything fun?
I went to Florida with my family. My grandma was down there.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Really nice. It was really warm.
Oh, God, of course it was. This is the toughest time of year here because like everybody that lives in the South is like gardening and going to the beach. And it's like, yeah, it's March here.
It's so gray here.
I know. Bitch, bitch, bitch. And then we get those 10 wonderful weeks called summer, and everyone's like, I love Montana. Yeah. Michael, what'd you do?
I just kind of chilled, went fly fishing and whatnot.
Fun.
Yeah.
Is the fishing good this time of year? I thought it was like super murky.
It's so the runoff hasn't happened yet, so we're still getting some clear water, but yeah, it's kind of getting a little trashy right now.
Okay. All right. Oh, that sounds fun. And I mean, it was reasonable weather for spring break here.
Oh, 60 degrees. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm really not bitching. I mean, look at my office behind me. I'm looking out at a mountain and the river, and it's like, yeah, it's not that bad. Okay, well, gosh, you guys have private tutoring. So what I wanted to do, or what I thought I would do, if you think this is a solid plan, is just kind of work through the problems that are due for tomorrow, since this is really the takeaway from chapter 7.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so grab your book. I don't know, do you guys have ebooks or real books?
The ebook.
Okay, so I'm on page 301. And we're starting on we're starting on number 5. And basically what this, hold on just a sec. Okay, what this chapter is or is the end of the 3 units talking about credit and loans. So this is just, we looked at credit cards and comparing credit sources last chapter. And this chapter is actually looking at loans, loan amortization schedules, how you figure out whether you should buy something or on credit or pay for it out of your savings account, those kinds of things. So number 5 is talking about 2 different kinds of loans. One is a simple interest loan, which we've been doing all semester long, just write, principal times rate times time, and you calculate the interest. And then the other is this kind of loan called a discounted loan, where you make that same calculation, but then you pay the interest up front. So I do my principal times rate times time calculation, and I come up with a number. And then that amount comes off of the principal. So I've really prepaid the interest on the loan. Does that make sense?
So you pay the interest up front on the discount method?
Yep. So, and it's called a discounted loan. So like if I'm getting $1,000 loan and I calculate the interest, I don't really get $1,000. I get, $920.
And you don't pay any more interest throughout the term, right?
Exactly.
Okay, got you.
But the key to it is that makes your interest rate higher than it looks like, because you're paying $80 in that example on $920 of a loan, not on $1,000 of a loan. So it makes your APR higher. So it's easier to illustrate than it is to explain with words. So let's just read the example. So it says we're going to calculate the APR on both a simple interest and a discount loan. So it says find the finance charges, which is the fancy word for interest, on a 6.5% 18-month $1,000 single payment loan when interest is computed using the simple interest method. So that's just your basic old principal times rate times time. And your time is obviously, what are you going to use for your T?
1.5 years.
Yep. So yeah, 18/12. Yep. So they want you to find the interest in that example. And then in the second example, it's the same number, but you've got to subtract that interest from the $1,000 to see how much you're going to get. And then the APR is the interest divided by the amount that you brought home on the loan. So you didn't bring home $1,000 in the second example, you brought home something less than that. Okay, so go ahead and take a sec and then we'll talk about it together.
I'm sorry, you said the APR. How do you calculate that again?
So in the first example, it's just simple interest. So
Yeah.
that's just, I mean, the 6.5 is
The APR.
the answer. In the
Yep.
second example, you've got to take, okay, so you've calculated your interest for 18 months. So you have to get that to an APR or to an annual number. So you would divide or multiply that. Oh my gosh, you would multiply that by 18/12 to bring that down to an annual number. And then you would divide that by the amount of the loan. So we'll walk through that together. Just do that
Okay.
first piece and then we'll walk through that together. Okay, so let me share my screen. And sorry, this was all up. Okay. So okay, so the first one just asked how much is your interest going to be for a year and a half and what's your APR? And the APR is the same number that they gave you because it's simple interest. So there's nothing to muck around with there, right? So 6.5%, $97.50. In the second situation, I'm not getting the full $1,000 because it's a discounted loan. I calculate the interest just like I did up here and I subtract that, I get $902.50 is how much of the loan of the $1,000 I'm bringing home. So if I'm paying $97.50 on a principal of $902.50, my APR is going to be something higher than 6.5%. So the first thing I have to do is convert. So this number's for a year and a half, right? How do I get that to just a 1-year number?
Divide by 3.
I think it's for a year and a half, isn't it?
Oh yeah. So 18 then?
Divided by 1.5.
Oh, so yeah.
I'm trying to get this to a 1-year number, and this is a 1.5-year number. So convert that to an annual number first. So what does that convert to for 1 year?
65.
Yeah. So in the first example, if I take 65 divided by $1,000, it gives me just what you would imagine, 6.5%, right? If you divide that by the discounted amount, it's going to give me an APR that's higher. So see what it gives me if I divide that by the discounted loan.
It's 7.2%.
Yes, ma'am. So the key to this is simple interest. You guys know how to do that, you know, principal times rate times time, no big deal. And in simple interest, the APR is just the interest rate they give you. There's nothing to calculate. With a discounted loan, you calculate the interest, you subtract it from the loan proceeds, and that's how much cash you get. To figure out the APR on that, the first step is to convert whatever the interest number is to a 1-year number. And then divide that by the loan proceeds, which was the 90250. Okay. And that's just the steps. And it's always, discounted loans are always going to have a higher APR than they look like on the face value because of this. It's just the mathematics of it, right? Okay, questions about that. So really, and to be honest, discounted loans aren't that prevalent. Most loans are simple interest rate loans. Okay, let's see. I thought I'd written down what the numbers were that we had to do here. So that was 5. All right, next one is 10. That's on page 302. In this one, we're looking at a car loan, and they want us to do some different things. They want us to calculate the payments. They want us to calculate the interest, the APR, and to do some comparison shopping. So, and this is just really helpful to know how to do in general. So I want you to be able to use Excel to do this. So I'm going to show you let's see if I can get this a little bit bigger, the formula for calculating a payment in Excel. And you can do this, I mean, you can play around with this anytime you're trying to figure out like, oh gosh, like one of my kids is trying to buy a house and I show them this and like, this will help you determine like what your payment's going to be given any set of parameters. So it's pretty easy to do. So it's equals PMT and open your parentheses. Now, if you didn't just know that, which you probably wouldn't, you can go to this little FX in Excel, and that's where your functions are. And these are all these literally thousands of functions that you can put in the parameters, and Excel will calculate it for you. So I'm going to go to the categories. And it's like, I mean, you can see there's, you know, engineering and database and blah, blah, blah. This is a financial and pretty much anything we're going to do or you're going to probably need to do is in here. And then it tells you what every single one of these functions are. Anyways, I mean, I just know payment calculates a payment for a loan based on a constant payment and a constant interest rate. So I go, okay. So interest rate. All right, so now let's read the problem. After careful comparison shopping, Noah Griffin decides to buy a new Toyota Camry with some options added. The car has a price of $23,558, including plates and taxes. But he can't afford to pay cash for the car. He will use some savings and his old car as a trade-in to put down $3,558. Noah plans to finance the rest with a $20,000 6-month or 60-month loan at a simple interest rate of 4%. Okay, so here's the key. I'm going to put in the 4% for my interest rate, but that's an APR. They always give you an annual rate, right? But I am actually making these payments monthly. So I have got to convert that. Hi, Elizabeth. I have got to convert that interest rate to a monthly rate. I'm not paying 4% a month. I'm paying 4% a year. Okay. So Elizabeth, we're working problem number 10. On page 302. Okay, the next question is, so I'm tabbing to the next field, the number of payments for the loan. So how many times am I making these payments? Right, 60 months, that's a 5-year loan. That's very standard for a car loan. And the present value is what's the amount of the loan? Oops. And I hit OK. And I can see what my payments are.
Wait, what did you do instead of the 4%?
I'm gonna show you do this all over again manually and not use the function. So let me put all this up here again. So 4%, $20,000, 5 years, but I'm paying monthly. Okay. So start your formula. Do you guys all have Excel? Okay, so start your formula, key in equals PMT and open your parentheses. And the 3 parameters are rate, number of payments, and principal. So your rate is 4%, and you can either put it in like this, or you can put it in like this. I don't care, doesn't matter. But the key is, if I was only making annual payments, then I could just leave it in as an annual rate, but you always have to convert the rate to the time period that you're paying over. So if I'm making monthly payments, my rate isn't 4% a month, my rate is 4% a year. So I have to divide it by the number of payments in a year. Does that make sense? So it was like when we did our formula, interest equals principal times rate times time. And we've been using 1/12 for our time. If you're making a monthly payment, that's what this is doing. If I was paying on my car quarterly, what would I divide that 0.04 by?
4.
Yeah, 4, exactly. So the key is you've got to convert the interest rate to the period over which you're paying. Okay, now I'm paying over 5 years and I'm making monthly payments. So I can actually put math in here. Or I can just put in the 60. I mean, I can do whatever's easiest. How many payments am I making in total, right? And then again, I could put math in here, right? The car costs, where am I? 23,558, but I'm putting down and have a trade-in of 3,558. So I could either just put the 20,000 in there, or I can do the math in there, just let Excel do the work, right? And hit return. Obviously, you're going to get the same number. Okay. So that was A. How much are my monthly payments going to be?
And we can use the loan amortization or
Yep, and we're going to do
right?
that right now so I just want to show you all these methods. Okay,
cool.
so the second question is, how much total interest will Noah pay in the first year in the loan? And that's really important to know. Use a monthly payment analysis procedure similar to the one in Exhibit 7.7. Okay, so what we're going to do here, and the way to say that is amortization.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. A loan amortization schedule. And what a loan amortization schedule is, it shows you every payment over the life of your loan and how is each payment allocated between principal and interest. And like, it's super helpful. Like, you know, if you've got a house for 360 or for the next 30 years, you know, like how much is each of my payments, where is it going? So for our car, we're going to go do this. And so to do a loan amortization schedule in Excel, you go to File and New. And then you have templates. Oh, use the search box. Huh. Okay. I thought those would be right here. All right. So loan amortization. And you don't want a loan calculator. You want the loan amortization schedule. So it's this guy right in the middle. So, okay, great. And then I'm going to create it. And then what it does is it pulls up a workbook that gives me fields to fill in. And then it's going to just spit out the schedule. So let's just go add the amounts in. So how much is my loan for? Okay, now here, and this is just where you kind of have to read carefully. This asks for the annual rate. So you don't need to divide by 12 here because it's going to do that with the information you give it, right? Okay, great. Loan period in years. How many years is the loan over?
5.
How many payments a year am I making? 12. When am I starting the loan? Well, if I was taking it out today, my first payment would probably be like May 1st. Oops. I think you need to put in the. And then this is kind of cool to play around with. I'm not going to do it right this second, but this is your optional extra payments. Like, oh, hey, what would happen to my car loan if I paid an extra $100 a month on it? But let's take that out for the time being. So obviously my payment is going to turn out to be exactly like what I just did in that last calculation, right? And this is kind of interesting. On a $20,000 loan, look how much I'm paying in interest over 5 years. Wow, right? That's a lot. Okay, so the question, and you guys can all see this now. The question is, how much total interest will Noah pay in the first year? So go ahead and look at this and see if you can come up with the answer just by reading this chart. And you can just jump in.
$732.89.
Yep. So here's how you read this. Here's your payments. Here's the loan you're starting with, 20 grand. Your payment's the same every month. And then the first month, you know, you calculate the interest and then the rest goes to principal. And the next month you have a little less interest and a little more to principal, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every month, the amount that is allocable to principal brings down your ending balance, and that becomes the beginning balance for the next month, right? And then the far right column is your cumulative interest. And the question was, how much is my interest? How much interest is he going to pay after 12 months? $732.89. Okay. C, how much interest will he pay over the full 60-month life of the loan? Okay, we already saw that. All right. Let's see for giggles what happens. And when we got our first mortgage, I played around with this a lot and really basically knocked 12 years off of paying off our house. And the way that I did it was trying to figure out, in my mind, I knew I wanted to own our house before we retired. So I played around in this box till I figured out how much do I need to come up with every month to get this loan down to where I want it. Okay, we didn't qualify for anything less than a 30-year loan, but I wanted to turn it into an 18-year loan. So let's say I want to turn this car loan into a 3-year loan, okay? 36 months. So I'm like, can I pay 100 extra bucks a month? So now I go down and I look. Oh, it's still a 47-month loan. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I just screw around with it till I come up with the number. Okay, what if I pay 150 bucks extra a month? Getting closer. All right, maybe just a little bit more. Okay, so close. Okay, so now you may or may not be able to pay 368 plus 230, right? That's kind of a lot, but 5 years is also a long time. So it's like, you know what I'm going to do right now? All I can do is 100 bucks extra a month. But what you can do is you go over the life of the loan is it's like, oh my gosh, in a year I get a new job and I'm bringing home another 500 bucks a month. Now I can go play with this. So it gives you this ability to manipulate your loans and make whatever the life of a loan is, suit your finances and suit your desires. A lot of people don't know you can even do that. And you can, I mean, over like, if you look, for example, just super quickly, like say that you're getting a $300,000 mortgage. And 4% is about what mortgages are going for now. It's a 30-year loan. Look at this number. You're paying 215 grand on your $300,000 loan. And it's just inconceivable. And I can't remember what the numbers are, but I'm just going to make this up. If I decide like, I'm not going to buy the most car I can, afford. I'm not going to take trips. I mean, this number right here kills me. I'm going to pay another 400 bucks a month on my home loan. Look what I just did. I just saved myself 80 grand. And how many years is my loan now? 230. 360. I knocked 10 years off of my mortgage with 400 bucks a month. So just remember these 3 minutes, if nothing else, out of this class, because you will be in a position where you are making these decisions with your homes and your cars. Okay. So that was number 10. Okay, number 11. Yeah, I'm not going to go through that one because you should be able to do that based on what we just did. I do want to look at number 13. So number 13 is deciding whether to pay cash or to finance a purchase. So that's like, okay, I'm sitting here, I've got $40,000 in my savings account, and I want to buy a $10,000 used car. So should I take money out of my savings account and buy it, or should I finance it? And so can you give me any reasons why I shouldn't just pay cash for it? Or like, what's the analysis going to be? Why would you take a loan if you had the cash? What are you hoping your cash is doing for you?
Growing.
Yeah, I mean, if I take that 10 grand out of my whatever, fill in the blank, my investment fund or my IRA, well, you would never take it out of your IRA because you have to pay a tax on an early distribution. But if I'm going to take that out of my investment account or my money market or my savings, I'm going to give up my yield, right? Whatever I'm making on that, whatever I'm earning on that. So you've got to compare these two things. So how much am I going to pay in interest on the loan versus what am I giving up if I use my own cash? So the way to do this is called buy on time or pay cash, basically. And it's a worksheet. It's in your chapter 7. So you would go download that. So I just want to go through this and just kind of get you started on the basics of it. I'm not going to go through every little piece of the whole thing, but I just want to kind of explain it to you and show you that this is the sheet that you would use to do your analysis. So the first thing up here we're going to look at is how much is it going to cost me, just what we were just doing, to finance the thing, right? How much is my interest going to be? Okay. Secondly, what am I giving up if I pay cash? And I'm giving up how much my annual rate is that I'm earning on my savings. But I can't just take that number because I have to pay taxes on it. So I have to subtract my taxes from whatever my interest is that I earn on my savings account. And that's called after-tax earnings. So then you find the difference between the cost of borrowing and the cost of paying cash, and whichever one costs you more, you're going to go with the other choice, right? So let's just read through the problem, and then I'll give you like 5 minutes to kind of fill in what you think you can, and then I'll give you some guidance and leave you to kind of finish us off. Okay, so we're on the bottom of page 302, number 13. Maria Lane wants to buy a home entertainment center complete with a big screen TV and sound system. The unit would cost $4,500. She has over $15,000 in a money fund, so she can easily afford to pay cash for the whole thing. And her fund is currently paying 5% interest, and Maria expects that yield to hold for the foreseeable future. To stimulate sales, the dealer is offering to finance the full cost of the unit with a 36-month installment loan at 5%. Maria is in the 24% tax bracket, and you guys know what marginal tax bracket is, right? That's what your next dollar of earnings going to be taxed at. So she's in the 24% tax bracket and does not itemize deductions on her tax return. Should she pay cash for the entertainment center? So A and B, you just fill in information, and C, you need to go do your payment calculation that we just practiced in Excel. So let me just keep giving you some instructions and then I'll let you go. So you've got to do that, equals PMT. Once you get that number 2 is asking you, how much is this thing going to cost you out of pocket in totality? So if she's making a monthly payment every month for 36 months, how much is she paying out of pocket in total? Minus the principal, right? What did she originally borrow? The balance then is going to be the interest. So, I'm paying $300 a month for 36 months equals whatever. What was the principal of the loan? The difference is the interest, the cumulative interest. Okay, versus the cost of paying cash. How much is she earning on her savings account every year? Times the amount she's going to be taking out to buy the entertainment center. So that's how much she annually is giving up earning on that $4,500. Then she's saving the tax, right? Because she's not earning that money. She doesn't have that tax bill. So the difference between what she earned on the savings minus the tax bill she's saving is the after-tax earnings. And then you have to multiply that by how many years. And those are the two numbers that you compare. So I'm going to run and grab some water and let you guys just kind of get started so that you can formulate some questions for me. Okay. Does that sound good? All right. I'm gonna grab some water. Okay, questions so far? Is that what you guys got for the payments?
Wait, how'd you get that?
So our formula is interest, I think was 5%, right?
Yep.
And then you have to divide by how many times per year you're making your payment to convert the APR to the appropriate time period.
Okay.
And then it was over 36 months. And it was a $4,500 note. Everyone good? So did you guys get to this, that over the life of the loan, Mariah would be paying $4,855.29? Elizabeth, how you doing, hon?
I'm not, I'm having a hard time, but I think it's because I came in late. I do apologize for that.
No. Let's go. Everybody else can keep working. Let's go back up. So the key here, I assume this is what you're struggling with.
Yeah, I don't really understand what I'm looking at yet.
Okay, so do you have Excel?
Yes.
Okay, do you have it up?
I have to switch to my other screen, but yes.
Okay, so what we're trying to do here is figure out a monthly payment. I mean, or it could be quarterly or annual or whatever, but most consumer loans are monthly payments. So let's just kind of assume that's what we're doing, right? So, okay, you're borrowing X amount of dollars over X amount of years at X percentage. What's my payment going to be? Right? So here's the formula, and you should write this down on paper and then you can enter it in Excel. So I'm going to write it like I'm writing it on paper. So it's equals PMT open parentheses.
Okay, there you are.
Okay, so write this on your paper first.
Okay.
So it's the annual interest rate.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
Trying to pull up this now.
Can you see my screen?
I can now. Yeah, I just now got it pulled up. I'm trying to close this other stuff so I can make this bigger. Okay, there we go. Now I can see your screen.
Okay, so this is what, write this down on your paper and then you can put it into Excel at your own leisure.
Okay, equals PMT.
Open parentheses. And then you key in the annual interest rate, 0.06, 0.02, whatever.
Okay.
But then you have to divide it by 12 if it's monthly payments, because your annual interest rate is not the same as your monthly interest rate.
Okay.
The second comma or field parameter is the number of months in the loan. So if it's a 5-year loan, it's 60 months. If it's a 3-year loan, it's 36 months. If it's a 30-year loan, it's 360 months.
Okay.
Okay, and then comma, and the last one is the principal. How much am I borrowing?
Okay.
So if you put that calculation, and that's all I did here was equals PMT, open parentheses, interest rate divided by 12, comma, number of months, comma, principal, close parentheses, and hit return, it kicks out the payment for you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So just like magic there. So the next thing we're doing is trying to figure out how much then is it going to cost me if I have to pay this every month for 36 months, what's my total payment going to look like? And if it's 4,855 and I borrowed 4,500, the difference has got to be what I paid in interest.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Gwyneth and Michael, are you guys this far? Okay. So, and this is all recorded, Elizabeth, so you can go back and watch it. I'm going to kind of keep going, but you're just stay with me, but you know that you can come back and watch this, okay?
Most definitely. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So now she knows it's going to cost me $355.29 to borrow. What's it going to cost me to take the money out of my savings account? Well, I get 5% on my savings account, right? Annually. So $4,500 times so principal times rate, and my time, I'm trying to figure out for 1 year because it says APR, annual interest. So my T is 12 divided by 12, $225. That's how much I'm earning a year, right? But I don't get to keep all that because I got to pay the tax man. So here it says, how much tax do I pay on that $225? So I've got to give you the marginal tax rate, which I did. I said it was 24%, right? So 24% of $225, I never got to keep all that. I had to pay part of that as taxes. I had to pay $54 of that in taxes, right? So what did I get to keep? $225 minus my $54 in taxes. I kept $171 a year. And then this is where I've got to convert it to 3 years, right? Because the loan's over 3 years and the interest up here was over 3 years. So I've got to compare apples to apples. So these are the two numbers I'm comparing, right? So it says find the difference. So the difference is the difference between the 513 and the 355.29, 157.71. So what do you think without looking at this little hint down here? Should she pay cash or should she borrow it? What do you think? Michael, what do you think?
Well, shouldn't that number be negative or no?
Oh, I did it the wrong way. That would be confusing. 23 minus.
She should borrow it.
Yes, that number should be negative. So should she, without reading my little hint, just intuitively, what do you think she should do?
It's cheaper to borrow.
Right, because if she takes it out of her savings account, she's going to lose $513 of after-tax interest over 3 years, right? If she borrows the money, she's got to cough up $355.29. So she's really better, even though she's got the money, to borrow it. And this is a really bona fide analysis. I mean, you have to get to a certain stage of life where you can make this decision, because if you don't have any money, you can't make the decision. You just need to borrow it, right? But it's an important decision to make at a certain point. You guys have questions?
Most of the time, savings vehicles, like that's pretty generous. Yeah.
Oh, the 5%?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. But first off, it wouldn't even be anything worth doing because you could eyeball it if it was 0.9%.
Yeah.
And second off, this book is a little bit dated, so interest rates might have been, that much higher when it was written.
So what kind of vehicles are they talking about when they say they're pulling money out of savings then?
So like if I've got some money market mutual funds that pay 3.5%.
Okay.
So they're liquid. I can get money out of them. But they're at a higher rate. They're at a much higher rate.
Okay, gotcha.
Good question. Okay, let me just show you guys this really super quick while we're all here. So the exam opens up, or anybody else that's watching this, I hope the other 23 people are planning on watching this in their own time. So the exam is, I'll open it up late Sunday night, like before I go to bed. It's open all day Monday, which is April 4th. And it will look just like the last exam. You'll have none of this is open to you yet, but I just want to show you what it will look like. You'll have the test itself, which is the questions. You're going to have an extra document to work with. So I guess I'm giving this away. You're going to have to do a bank reconciliation, right? You're going to have an answer sheet, and this is what you submit to me right here where it tells you to. And then you will also have on the exam, it asks you to do an Excel problem. So you will submit an Excel worksheet to me here. So it's just the same as the last one. Like, I think this is worth 90 points and this is worth 10 or something. Okay. So I know it's a lot and it's kind of confusing, but the tests that they give on these platforms that go with the book are just, I mean, they're just kind of crappy. So I prefer doing my own tests. Your review is open. There's 3 things. There's a review for test number 2, which is all stuff from your book, things that I'm asking you go back and review in your book. And then for those of you that were here before spring break, these are those practice questions from chapter 6. And then I have a couple practice questions from chapter 7. And also there is in unit 7, which is the last of the 3 chapters, right? You're testing on 4, 6, and 7. There's a one of the lectures is prepping for test number 2. Okay, well, that's all I've got. I think we only have one more of these. Sorry, just a second. Yeah, I don't even think we have one more of these. This is the last one of these Zoom rooms. But if at any point in time you want to do this, because this is my office hours, technically it's 2 to 3 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just say like, I would like to do a little tutoring session. And I mean, this is, you know, I mean, I miss teaching face to face. I would rather do this any day of the week. So just let me know, okay? All right. Okay, stay on if you need anything. Otherwise, bye.
Thank you.
Bye. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm okay. I'm anxious to get my book open and pick up kind of where I jumped in and see what this
Good.
is about.
Good. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got 3 to 4 days if you've got some time carved out to get through this chapter.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good. And I'm glad that you got everything established with DSS. That'll, I think, make things a lot easier in the long run for you. So you've got
Yes,
time and a
thank you
half
so
on the
much.
test. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're so awesome. No one's ever helped me out so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, make sure your other professors know that too.
I did.
All
I
right.
sent them the email.
Good. Great. All right. You take care of yourself. Let me know if you need anything, okay?
I will. I really do appreciate that. I might hit you up with some questions.
That's fine. I'm pretty much on my email all the time.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Take care, hon.
Talk to you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye-bye.